Good evening, members and officers. Welcome to the executive meeting of the 6th of December 2021. Agenda item 1, apologies for absence. We have apologies from Councillor Simon Wootton. There are no other apologies. Everyone else is present. Agenda item 2, non-members attending. There are none. Agenda item 3, minutes of the meeting held on the 4th of November 2021. Are these minutes agreed, members?
Agreed.
Thank you. Agenda item 4, to receive declarations of interest. Are there any declarations, please, members? No, thank you. Agenda item 5, questions on notice from councillors. Members, there are none. Agenda item 6, matters referred to the executive and reports from other committees. Members, there are none. Moving on to agenda item 7, the mid-year performance update 2021 to 22. Naomi, can I ask you to present this, please? Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. This report sets out the Council's mid-year performance update for this financial year. Members will recall that we've committed to provide half-yearly updates to the Executive to allow performance against the Council's business plan to be regularly reviewed. The Council's objective is to move towards a more outcomes-based performance framework which mirrors the corporate priorities which are outlined in the business plan 2020 to 2023. This is a move away from the historic key performance indicator set which used to be set nationally and reported to central government. And in many cases this is no longer mandated, although in a number of areas we do still continue to collect that data. As the Council is free to set its own performance measures now, we are looking, as I say, to move towards a more performance-based approach. However, the key challenge is the availability of data which can be collected in order to enable us to do effective monitoring of that, particularly for those outcomes which are less tangible in nature. So the report itself has 2 appendices. The first appendix sets out a more qualitative approach in terms of how we've met our key business plan priorities, and this mirrors the approach that we took last financial year in our year-end annual report. The second appendix is the more qualitative set of key performance indicators which supplements that. So I think the content itself should be reasonably self-explanatory, and we have tried to obviously give explanations of where performance has varied against our key performance indicators. Unless anyone has any particular comments or questions on the content of those, then the report is just for noting. Thank you.
Thank you, Naomi. Any questions, members? No? Thank you. Okay, members, so there is one recommendation set out at paragraph 1.1 to note the contents of this report and appendices 1 and 2. Is this noted, members?
Noted.
Thank you. Okay, we move on to agenda item 8, Advice Services Contract 2022 to 2024. Louisa Moss will present this report. Thank you, Louisa.
Thank you, Chair. Members, this is a report recommending that we enter into a procurement process for the retender of the advisory services contract. It's a 2-year contract with the option for a 1-year extension. The value of the contract is $70,000 per year, and that's been the same cost for the last 6 years, for the last 2 lots of terms of this contract. The current provider of the advisory services contract is Citizens Advice South Essex, and their contract comes naturally to the end at the beginning of next year, which is why we're proposing the procurement starts at that time. In the report you can see that there's some evidence to show why an advisory services contract is so integral to enhancing our services, and aligns itself with the prevention agenda generally. And some last 6 months outputs from Citizens Advice give you a flavour and headline of just how much support they give to key services within our organisation. Hopefully the rest of the report is relatively self-explanatory, but if there are any questions, then please do ask.
Thank you, Louisa. Members, any questions? Councillor Smith.
Thank you. As you've said, we've had this contract at this price for quite some time with Citizens Advice. More out of curiosity than anything, but are there any other players in the market who can provide this service?
There are, which is why we continue to go out to procurement. There are some services, although they're not completely comparable. But we do know neighbouring authorities have gone for other providers, so it's only fair and open that we should continue to put this through a proper procurement process accordingly. But as I say, we are sometimes comparing pears with apples, but there are other providers that provide similar services, but not all the services that our current provider offers.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Louisa. Any other questions, members? No, okay, thank you. Sorry, Councillor Webb.
Thank you, Chair. It's just more of a comment, really. Just to looking at the numbers here, they're excellent in terms of meeting the needs of our local residents. I think one of the things I really appreciated when I had this portfolio was the value that these services add to our residents, and it's fantastic that as a district we're still able to provide this level of service, because our residents need this support and this help at times. So I'd like to recommend this service to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Webb. So, members, there are two recommendations set out at paragraph 1.1. 1.1, to agree that the advice services contract should be retendered for a further 2-year period, with the option for the Council to extend the contract for a further 1-year period. It is proposed that the value of the contract would continue to be £70,000 per year. 1.2, to recommend that this report is presented to full Council on the 7th of December 2021 to endorse the proposals set out in the sections below. Members, I will move those from the Chair. Do I have a seconder, please? Councillor Williams, thank you. Members, are you happy to vote for these two recommendations en bloc? Thank you. Can those members in favour please raise their hands? That's carried. Thank you, members. Okay, we move on to agenda item 9, compulsory purchase of land at Michelin Farm, Rayleigh. Councillor Ian Ward, portfolio holder for strategic planning, will introduce this report. Thank you, Councillor Ward.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. This paper is coming to executive to solve a long-term issue. It's basically to look at initial surveys, initial investigations and survey work to be undertaken in regards to compulsory purchase of Michelin's Farm. We are asking to have a drawdown of £25,000 to enable officers to prepare a business case for compulsory purchase. I would like it noted on item 1.3, just a change, if I can put in there, to delegate responsibility to the Assistant Director, Place and Environment, Assistant Director of Legal and Democratic, and also consultation of the portfolio holder for strategic planning. That can be noted within that particular area. Thank you. The supporting evidence is within this document. It is very comprehensive in the route in which we are about to look at. This is exploratory. at this moment, just to see where we need to go. So I recommend this to the executive. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Ward. Councillor Smith.
Could I just ask Councillor Ward if he'd be prepared to accept one small amendment to 1.2 to approve a drawdown of reserves of up to 25,000?
Councillor Ward.
Yes, Madam Chairman, I'm quite happy to accept that amendment.
Thank you, Councillor Ward. Is that okay, Councillor Smith? Thank you. Any other questions, members? Thank you. So, members, there are 3 recommendations set out in paragraph 1.1. 1.1, that the Executive agrees to bring forward a report to consider using the Council's compulsory purchase powers to acquire land at the Michelin Farm, Rayleigh, once initial investigations and survey works have been undertaken. 1.2, to approve a drawdown from reserves of up to £25,000 to enable officers to prepare a business case for the compulsory purchase of land at Michelin Farm, Rayleigh. 1.3, to delegate responsibility to the Assistant Director, Place and Environment and Assistant Director, Legal and Democratic, in consultation with the portfolio holder for strategic planning, to negotiate the potential voluntary purchase of the land in parallel to the compulsory purchase order process, and report this back to the Executive for consideration. Members, I will move those from the Chair. Do I have a seconder, please? Councillor FD. Members, are you happy to vote for the 3 recommendations en bloc? Thank you. Can those members in favour please raise their hands? Thank you, members. That's carried. Okay, moving on to item 10, Council Programme Management Office. And Angela Hutchins will present this report. Thank you, Angela.
Thank you, Chairman. In relation to this report, members, you'll recognise this as being the quarterly report of the Council's Programme Management Office in relation to the key programmes which the Council is undertaking. The report itself is self-explanatory, but we are available for questions should you have any. Members should note that if the partnership with Brentwood Borough Council is approved in the new year, the transformation programme required to implement the ambitions of that partnership will effectively become the Programme Management Office and effectively subsume this report going forward. So this is, at this stage, potentially the last report in this format. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Members, any questions? No? Okay, thank you. Members, there is 1 recommendation set out in paragraph 1.1, and that's to note updates on the Council's 3 projects, the Connect programme and the Asset Delivery programme, both gold projects, and the Beagle Event project, a silver project. Is this noted, members?
Noted.
All noted. Members, that concludes the business for this evening, and I close the meeting at 19:43. Thank you all very much.